Hello, I'm Jonathan Mason, and in this video I tell you about my battle with type 2 diabetes and how I reversed it. I tell you of my mistakes and my victories, my joys and my sorrows. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I must make this disclaimer, and I will see you after that. My battle with type 2 diabetes began when I watched my mother suffer, when she was in a glycemic coma. I was living in the UK and she was in South Africa. My family asked me to come and see her before she passed away. Now, Mum was in a really bad way. She had fallen over in the middle of the night and had lain on the floor until the morning when the cleaner discovered her. By this time she was in a coma and she had had a broken hip. The doctors didn't want to do anything until she came out of the coma, but things were getting worse. She had got gangrene in her right hand due to the poor sort of circulation in her hand, and it was turning all black. I was there for about a week, and the doctor said that there was no hope for any recovery. Now, my brother tried to persuade me to agree to turning off the machines, but you see, I just couldn't do that. She was still alive. But the time neared for me to go home, and about an hour before I was to leave, I had said goodbye to Mum, and I was busy saying goodbye to the rest of my family when I got the news. They had turned off the machines, and unbelievably, Mum had come out of the coma. I rushed back to the hospital, and there she was with an oxygen mask, battling to breathe. I could still see her chest sort of heaving as she clung to every breath that kept her alive. Her eyes were bewildered as she was struggling to sort of make sense of the world around her. Obviously, she didn't know where she was or what she was going on. I cannot express to you the emotions that were going through me at that moment. How was she off the machines? That poor, frail body. My mother was a tiny lady. She only stood 4 foot 9 inches tall. But her determination to live was undeniable. I was just overjoyed that she was alive. My only regret is that I'm not able to give her the gift of this program that I'm giving you. I know that she would still be alive today if she had it. The pain of this moment, is faded, but the motivation that it gave me to reverse my own type 2 diabetes when the chips were down has served me well. So it is to my mother's memory that I dedicate this reverse type 2 diabetes program. I was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic just over 9 years ago. I was given a cholesterol diet and told that was all I had, as there was no diabetic diet. I adhered to this diet with absolutely no sign of improvement. This was very important for me, as I had mentioned my mother had diabetes and I had watched her slowly die. I had watched her dignity of life go out, the energy and zest for the life slowly slip away. She had her hand amputated, and I saw all sorts of side effects taking place, and her personality change and her memories disappear as she wrestled with this awful disease, and eventually she lost the battle. Now, I went to the consultations with the NHS nutritionist, and they explained that diabetes was when your body became resistant to insulin. But the main focus was on the high cholesterol and the dangers thereof. Whilst this was helpful in understanding the cholesterol problem, they gave very poor advice about what foods to eat. They told us that if we just had to continue eating like we were, this included all the junk food and the high carbohydrates, but we must just make an effort to replace some of the chips if we're having fish and chips with a little salad and the such like. Or if we are having a burger and fries, to replace the fries with a salad or a few vegetables. It was at this time I decided to take my health and well-being into my own hands, and I would study my condition and seek ways to heal myself. I began to do internet searches for reversing type 2 diabetes. This search led me down, I cannot tell you how many dead ends, how much bad information was out there, how much really dangerous information was and still is out there. And this really hides the genuine helpful information from those that are really seeking a solution like myself. I really wanted to know. I didn't just want to give some person a little bit of celebrityship on the internet. I didn't want to go down that route. I wanted genuine answers. I didn't want to make somebody a little richer out of my own suffering and buy books that were useless. I was tired of it. I had spent so much money already on it. I was really tired. But it was during this time I was also buying books that promised the elixir to reversing my type 2 diabetes. The problem was finding the truth. There are books like this, 7 Steps to Health by Max Sideroff. Now this book is really, really valuable. It's about, healthy eating, and he explains all the problems with processed foods, the breads, the pastas, the ready meals, the whole lot. And he goes through it and he shows all the research and he backs it up. Now this is quite a thick book and some heavy reading, but I read it from cover to cover. And I went on this program and I thought this was going to reverse my type 2 diabetes. Well, it did. It made my memory take a whole step back. In fact, for 1 week, I was totally off my diabetic medication. It was then that everything came crashing around me. I was back on full medication. I didn't know what had happened because during that week I went off, but straight after that, I don't know what I had done wrong. I was following the program, but everything went backwards. I was on full medication. I went back to the doctor, and the doctor had to calm me down and say, look, at least you're trying, but continue to eat healthy and we'll take it from there. Needless to say, I went back onto full medication. This was a very frightening experience and really gave my confidence a hard knock, as I had gone into hypoglycemic shock, and this was my first big lesson, that I was not playing games. The vivid memory of my mother immediately came to mind. I knew that I wanted to restore my health, but eating the wrong food can be dangerous to your health, especially if you are a type 2 diabetic. So this was a real big eye-opener, that I was not playing games, that this was very serious. Now I was frightened, and it took a hard knock on my confidence, that for 2 months I couldn't do anything. Now a few months later, I began my studies again, as I knew that if it can happen for 1 week, there must be a mechanism that will allow me to do it permanently, and I was determined to find what that mechanism was. I had seen the doctors on the internet offering books for sale on how to do it, that they had recently discovered new techniques and magical herbs that could reverse type 2 diabetes. I was tired of all the fake news and the scams offering a cure, as I was ill. I was against the clock. I didn't have the money and I didn't have the time. The time was more important than the money, because I could always get more money, but I couldn't get more time, and time was running out. I wasn't prepared to wait around till one of them just happened to be legit, out of all the misinformation that was out there. Studying herbalism did open my eyes to how valuable diet and exercise was to your health. The whole idea that food is your medicine. The study of homeopathy certainly did enlighten me to the benefits of supplements. Now, I'd always believed in supplements, but this certainly did sort of educate me a lot more why supplements are important and why the vitamins and nutrients in your body are important. The concept that most illness can be contributed to diet and your metabolism was certainly highlighted by complementary medicine, but it was also highlighted in modern medicine, but with less sort of emphasis. But this knowledge in itself did not offer me, or did not give me, the solutions I was looking for. There were some remedies, but it was really just exchanging one form of medicine for another, and that wasn't my objective. I didn't just want to exchange one form of medicine for another. I wanted to get healthy again. I decided to pursue the study of modern medicine. Now this was very difficult, as I had nowhere to start. Now the commencement of my studies started one day when I said to my wife, let's go down to the market. Now we have a beautiful market here in Chesterfield. It's one of the biggest open-air markets in the UK. And we decided to go and take a walk around the market just to sort of relax, chill out and take it easy. Now we were walking around the market and we came across a bookstore. Now I'm an absolute bibliophile. I love to read. I was looking through all the novels and I wasn't really interested in anything there, but I really like books that give me information. Then suddenly I came across this book. Now, this book is the basic human physiology, normal functions and the mechanisms of disease, written by Guyton. Now, this is a student medical textbook. I was absolutely delighted. You know, this book is very academic and very technical, but I managed to grasp everything in the book. In this book, Guyton explains the mechanisms of digestion and diabetes. Now, he starts with the extracellular environment, which I had studied when studying herbalism, about your extracellular and your intracellular environments and how they should be balanced. But then he goes right down into the intracellular level, where he explains what the difference between RNA and DNA is and how the cell manufactures its energy and how glucose is transferred from the blood stream into the cells. It was all very, very interesting. He explains the two basic forms of digestion and how only one form is being focused on since the 1950s. Now, his puzzlement of why the form of ketosis is ignored when it has so many advantages and benefits to one's health led me to investigate this further, and it was the chosen form of treating diabetes prior to the 1950s. Now, having understood how the diet worked from a cellular level, I needed to know how this was translated into my eating patterns. Now, the ketogenic diet was looked into, and I found that there were a number of people around the world that were using this diet with some success. Now, this is very encouraging for me because there are people out there that were using it. Now, I found the basic diet was a low carbohydrate, high protein and high fats. This was not new to me, as Guyton had explained that the carbohydrates must be low enough for you to enter into a state of ketosis. This is where your body switches from using insulin to break down the food, but goes directly to the glycogen and the fats in your body as a source of fuel. But what I did find out is that the carbohydrates had to be below 20 grams per day. It was also important to have good healthy fats in your food and lots of protein. I understood the need for all the elements of the food types, being the carbohydrates, the fats and the proteins, and they are all important. Now, I want to thank you for listening to my part 1 of my battle with type 2 diabetes. Now, in part 2, I received the ultimate bad news when my doctor calls me in again and I learn my second great lesson. So please join me in part 2. If you would like to help me reverse type 2 diabetes around the world, then please like, subscribe and share these videos. But if you would like to get involved in helping me to spread the word in a more direct way, then please go to my website where you can find the program's mission statement along with a complete set of videos and a whole lot of other helpful aids that a type 2 diabetic could need. It is also a place where I hope to build a supportive community environment. I would like to thank anyone in advance who graciously donates to the cause and shares these videos. It is this support that enables this information to reach more people and to change lives. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.